So GTA Online has a pretty good update this week. It is the special crates is double money as well as the vehicle cargo. The vehicle cargo one is only 1.5 times, but it's still better than what it usually is. Now, I think I may have made a video on this before, but I really don't remember. But in this one, I'm not only going to share the best way of grinding your RP, but I'm also going to show you a couple tricks in a couple different special cargo missions. So what you're going to be needing to do this effectively is a Terabyte, an Oppressor Mach 2, or even a Deluxo, but that one's not 100% needed, it's just nice to have for one of these specific missions. I know that a lot of other content creators have probably done a video like this before, but I may do this a little bit differently than other creators. But for those of you that don't know this, your Terabyte is a good shortcut to start each of these missions. I would advise you to get at least 3 warehouses. The size doesn't really matter, but if you're going to go for the cheapest, I suggest getting 3 small warehouses. I've made the mistake of buying 4 large warehouses, but I never fill them up to full capacity, so really it was just a waste of money. And plus, I don't usually use this method to actually get money anyways, I just do it for the RP now. I used to do it for money, but now it doesn't really matter, that was so 4 years ago. But anyways, the best method that I found is this. Basically, you only really have to buy 1 special cargo crate because the RP is going to be the same whether you buy 1 crate versus 3. But of course, if you want to make a little extra money, then go ahead and always buy 3. That's pretty much what I always do. You can be in a solo public lobby for these or a full lobby. If you want to not get griefed, then I suggest being in a solo public lobby. There are methods to glitch yourselves into one of those, but I'm not really going to explain all that right now. But I seem to be in a pretty chill session with only like 5 people, so I decided to just stay where I was at. But the reason it's nice to have people in your session is because you actually get bonus money if there's other people in your session when you make a sale. But here it is. Basically, what you're going to have to do is call for your Terabyte and make sure that your oppressor is stored in your Terabyte storage because you will be using it quite frequently. So whenever you get to a mission, buy whatever amount you want because the RP is going to be the same regardless whether or not you buy 1 crate or if you buy 3. But of course, if you want to make a little extra money, go ahead and buy 3. But if you just strictly want to do RP and do it quickly, you can just do 1. Now once you launch the mission, as you are flying to the location to collect the cargo, make sure you go into your interactive menu and put your Terabyte back into storage. There is a small timer on when you can request your Terabyte again, but by the time this mission is over, it should be ready to be requested again. Now that's going to be important for later. Once you complete the mission, you're automatically back at your warehouse, so once you deliver the cargo immediately after it's delivered, go ahead and start a sell mission. Sourcing cargo gets you some RP, but selling it gets you almost triple what sourcing gets you. I don't exactly know the numbers, but this week it is actually double for RP and money, which definitely makes it the best for RP grinding. But even on a normal RP week and money week, it's still the best way to get RP in this game, sourcing and selling cargo. But when you sell the cargo, you can see that it increases my RP a whole lot. I only did about 3 sell missions and I got increased by 2 levels. That doesn't seem like a lot, but because I am such a higher level, it only increased by 2. But if you continuously do this as a lower level, you'll be level 100 or 120 in no time. Now moving on, once you actually complete the sell mission, you're going to repeat what I just did. Go into your interactive menu, call for your Terabyte, and it will spawn close to you because it will go off where you are located. There are other methods that are a little more complicated where you buy 2 of these certain specific warehouses and park your Terabyte in between the 2, and that's an okay method, but I prefer this way because no matter where you are, your Terabyte will spawn relatively closer to you. Now there are a whole bunch of variations of different missions that will spawn for sourcing cargo. I've got a couple tips on a few of those missions just to kind of show you how to do them a little more effectively and a little easier and I guess quicker. Now I guess the first quick little tip that I want to give you is any mission where you have to actually just get into another vehicle, make sure you put your oppressor back into its storage with your interactive menu every time. That way it'll just automatically spawn in your Terabyte every time you go back to it, and you won't have to worry about a cooldown timer. That's one tip. Another tip on a different mission is a mission where you have to find the right van. Basically 4 vans are going to spawn and you have to drive or fly next to one of them to see if your cargo is in it. When it spawns that you have to find the correct van, look at your minimap. All 4 of the locations of where each possible van will be blinking. The last one that stops blinking is going to be the correct van. So once you see that, you can literally go right over to it and boom, steal the van and go back to your business. Now I do have one more tip that kind of sort of ties into any of these NPC missions where you have to stop a van and steal it and get it back to your warehouse. For these missions, the best way to stop it is to literally just stop traffic, leisurely walk up to the guy, don't pull out any guns, don't shoot or anything like that, just get into the car, and if you stop traffic like you're not doing anything and act like you're just a regular NPC, I guess you can kind of fool the AI into just stopping, and normally it works. It kind of depends on the day. Sometimes it might get a little glitchy, but a lot of times it should work where you can just get out of your vehicle and steal the car, and boom, you shouldn't have any issues. The next one that I want to quickly talk about is the mission where you have to actually steal your cargo back from the police who has seized your cargo. This one is very similar to the last one, except you already know where your cargo is going to be at, and you basically do the same thing. You stop traffic and you try to get into the car. The only difference is the police are a little bit more aggressive, and they sometimes will speed off before you have the chance to actually steal their ride. And that's pretty much what happened to me in this scenario. Now what you can do, if you eventually pull the driver out of the van and they end up killing you, then the cops will automatically be off of you. Now, if you have the chance to actually kill the two drivers, they won't hop back in the car, but sometimes they might get to the point where you don't kill them, or you forget to, or you just don't have the time to, or whatever. The cops eventually kill you and you respawn with no cops on you. Then they will turn into basically regular NPCs. It's kind of weird. I don't know if it's glitchy, but sometimes it happens that way. And they will basically be less aggressive, just like normal NPCs. And of course, if you steal it from this point, for some reason, you will not get a wanted level. So there's that. The next mission I want to talk about is the mission where you have to kill the thieves. This method only really matters if you buy more than one crate. What's going to happen is 3 guys are going to run around the map trying to escape you. And basically what you want to do is kill one of them at a time. When you kill the one person, take the cargo back to your warehouse and then repeat, but only kill one of them at a time. Don't kill all 3 of them, because what happens is if you end up killing all 3 of them, or whichever one you kill, it's going to ping on the map so the other players around you can see where that cargo is, and they could grief you if they choose to do so. Those NPCs are just going to run around the map aimlessly. You won't lose them, so don't worry about that. And now we're moving on to the last mission that I can actually think of to give you a little quick guide on, is the one where you have to go out to sea to actually get the cargo. This one is the one that I suggest to use a Deluxo on this mission if you have one. If you don't have one, you can pretty much use any helicopter, but just make sure it has missiles or some sort of defenses on it. I suggest using a Deluxo on this one because you can literally get right on top of the water and you won't sink, or you won't have that accidental, oh no, I just sank my helicopter or sank my oppressor or whatever it is, because Deluxos can float on water. Not only that, but when you get to the mission, you gotta destroy these boats, and you will have NPCs firing at you. As long as you're above them, you cannot get shot while you're in the Deluxo. I mean, they will obviously shoot your car, but they won't shoot you as long as you are directly above them. And the missiles in the Deluxo are very aggressive, so you can easily kill them all using it. The oppressor makes it really easy for you to get shot off of it, and using something like a buzzard attack chopper or just any kind of chopper really, you have to be very careful trying to grab the cargo so that a wave doesn't take you and end up drowning your helicopter. The only thing that really does suck about this Deluxo is that it is a very slow air vehicle. But moving on, there are a couple little tips that I do want to share about the vehicle warehouse as well, because they are like 1.5 times money and RP this week. First off, when buying a vehicle cargo warehouse, you basically just want to go to the cheapest. You don't have to go expensive because none of the missions really matter. But when sourcing cars, there are 3 types of vehicles: standard range, mid-range, and top range. And just a very fast lowdown on the prices, the standard range vehicles can get you anywhere in between $15,000 profit and $30,000 profit. The mid-range can get you in between $25,000 and $50,000, and the top range can get you in between $40,000 and $80,000, depending on how you want to sell these cars. What you're always going to want to try to do is only sell top range vehicles because they always pay out the most. And always choose specialized dealer. Don't worry about private or showroom. Now the trick is this game is only going to let you spawn and store 10 of each vehicle range, so 10 standard, 10 mid, and 10 top tier vehicles. What you're going to do is every time you source a car, you're only going to sell the top range vehicles, meaning each time you source a mid or standard range vehicle, leave it in your warehouse and don't worry about selling it, just leave it sit. And it also makes your garage look kind of cool because it is basically going to be riddled with all the cars that you haven't sold yet. So it's nice and decorative, I guess. But for the love of God, if you ever spawn a Z-Type or a Roosevelt in your car, leave those cars sit as well, do not sell them. The Z-Type and the Roosevelt are top range vehicles, but I wouldn't advise selling them because they are extremely slow. You can also do this in a solo public lobby as well, but I mean, obviously it's got to be a public lobby, but if you're by yourself, that's fine. The only real kicker is that NPCs will actually chase you down if you're by yourself, so it might actually be a little bit more beneficial if you do this in a public lobby with just a couple people in there. Maybe a couple friends or something, just so that they can just kind of leave you alone and let you do some car sales. Because if you're in a public lobby with other people, NPCs will not spawn, but odds are if you're by yourself, the NPCs are going to spawn and you will cause damage to your car and you will get less than what you're actually going to be selling this car for. I think that's the biggest kicker of doing this solo. That by itself is why it sucks to sell a Z-Type or a Roosevelt in a solo lobby, because you get like maybe 40,000 out of it because they get so much damage because of the NPCs, because of how fast they travel, which isn't fast at all. And that's basically my 2 cents on vehicle cargo. I know that I gave you a lot of information, but I really hope all this information was actually useful, and if it was, be sure you hit the like button and subscribe if you are new for more content like this. If there is anything that I missed, please let me know in the comments. But for now, I hope you will see me next time. Goodbye.